Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This video is going to cover multi-step equations and it's kind of going to finish up this little unit I've been working on for how to solve algebraic equations. To this point, we've covered one-step equations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and most recently we talked about two-step equations and how we solve those and in what order, and then we looked at some exceptions to what the normal order to solving equations would be. So just a little review. When you solve a multi-step problem, you must follow the order of operations. PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. But that's the order you solve a operational problem. So really, when you're solving a multi-step equation, you're undoing a multi-step operational problem. And so you're going to work that backwards, okay? Do it in the opposite order that it was solved, if that makes sense. So when solving multi-step equations, generally speaking, you're going to start by undoing any addition or subtraction that you see there. Then you're going to follow that up by undoing the multiplication and division. And then if there happens to be exponents or roots, that would follow, okay? The multiplication and division. So that's pretty much what we covered up to this point. If that doesn't make sense, then maybe you should go back and watch some of those videos before you do this video. Mainly what we're going to look at here are 3-step, 4-step, which really means, you know, we got to do some combining or some distributing first. And so mainly going to be looking at some of those worksheets and problems that we didn't get to in the last videos. Okay, so let's take a look at my screen here. All right. So let's start here with this. Okay, these are multi-step equations, and really all that needs to be done is we have to prepare the equation to be solved. Okay, so part of the steps that they're talking about as far as multi-step is combining like terms, or like I said a minute ago, distributing. So if you take a look at number 1, 6a plus 5a is equal to -11. First thing we're going to do there is combine our a's. Okay, 6a and 5a is equal to 11a. Okay, sorry, my screen's not working here. All right, hopefully you can see this. (6a plus 5a equals -11). We have two sets of a's. They can go together. 5a's is 11a's. So that's the first step. Okay, now it's prepared and ready to be solved, which really it's a one-step equation. This means multiply. We're going to undo it by dividing. 11 divided by 11 is 1, or a single a. If I divide that side by 11, I do the same thing on the other side to keep it balanced. See, a is -1. All right, let's go back to our sheet. Okay, number 2 is going to be similar. -6n minus 2n. Put those together. -6 and -2 is -8. So -8n equals 16. Number 3. 4x plus 6 plus 3 is equal to 17. Why don't you go ahead and pause your screen and try and work that one out, okay? And then come back and watch how we solve it. All right, so let's see how you did. Here's our problem. 4x plus 6 plus 3 is equal to 17. In this problem, first thing we're going to do is combine like terms. So in this problem, we have a 6 and a 3 on the same side. They might as well go together. That's 9. Okay. Everything else is just going to come down as it is. Once we're here, it's ready to solve. Okay. Start with addition or subtraction. Take 9, keep it balanced. 17 minus 9 is 8. Bring down. 4x equals 8. This means multiply, so I'm going to undo it by dividing. Keep it balanced. That's a 1x over there, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. What we see is, in that problem, x is equal to 2. Remember, with equations, we can always check by plugging what we got for the variable into the original equation. So if x is 2, this means 4 2s, or 4 times 2, which is 8. Plus 6 plus 3 equals 17. Is that true? 8 plus 6 is 14, 15, 16, 17. I know I got that right. Okay. Let's go back to the worksheet. Okay, go ahead and try number 6, and then come back. Okay, so here we are. This is our problem, very similar to the last one. We have 3 terms over here, 3 numbers, and then on the other side is equal to 29. So first step, go ahead and combine your like terms. That would be these two. Don't forget that anytime you see just the letter, there's an automatic 1 in front of it. So 1r and 8r, those can go together as 9r. Bring down your positive 11, your equal sign, and your 29. Start with addition or subtraction. So that's positive 11. We're going to take 11 away. Keep it balanced. 29, take 11 away, leaves 18. Bring down everything that's left. 9r is equal to 18. This means multiply. 9 times r. I'm going to undo it by dividing by the number I see. 9 divided by 9 leaves 1r. Divide by 9, keep it balanced. Divide the other side by 9. R is 2. Plug it in. Well, here's R, so that's 2. Plus 11 plus 8R. 8 2s. 8 times 2. That's 16. Equals 29. Okay, so first step is plug it in. And now see if this is actually true. 2 plus 11 is 13, and 13 plus 16 is 29. If you put any other number in there besides 2 for R, it's not going to equal 29 when you get up here. So that's your clue. Okay, let's just give you an example on that. Let's say I came up with 3 for R in this problem. Maybe I messed up. R would be 3. Plus 11 plus 8 R's. 8 3's would be 24. Okay? So if I had made the mistake of putting R as 3 instead of 2, here's the numbers I would come up with. 3 plus 11 is 14. 14 and 24, that's 38, not 29. So I would know at that point that I found the wrong value for R. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's go back to our worksheets. All right, take a look at number 7. This is just something that needs to be pointed out. It's one of those tricky ones in a way. Okay, so we have negative 10 is equal to negative 14v plus 14V. All right, so first step, combine like terms. Negative 14 and positive 14 is 0. V. Bring down. All right, now, this can get confusing because there's a couple different instances that don't seem to make a whole lot of sense, but you can probably talk through them, okay? So here's what I want you to look at. I want you to think about this. All right. Negative 10 is equal to 0 times what? 0 times what would equal negative 10? Okay. Now, you may be thinking about that, like, what happens when you multiply a number times 0? Regardless of what number it is, you always get 0. Okay. So this can't happen. You can't multiply 0 times anything to get negative 10. So this is an example of a problem that has no solution, and that's the answer. There is no solution. There's no number you can put for V to make this problem true. Okay, so if you ever have variables that cancel each other out like this, that give you 0, then unless this is 0 as well, it's not going to work. It's no solution. Okay, so that's something that usually needs to be pointed out. All right. So we worked on problems like 14 in the last video. So let's go ahead and pause your screen. And if you want to work through that, try and solve for M, come back and see how we do it. Okay, so we're taking a look at number 14, and I have it written down here. Negative 13 is equal to 5 times the quantity, 1 plus 4m, minus 2m. Okay, so this is a multi-step equation because it's going to take a few different steps to solve. And before we can actually even start to solve or unravel that equation, we have to get it ready to solve. So we have to get this parentheses out of the problem in order to start to get to those values, okay? So if you remember yesterday, we worked on something called the distributive property, which involves a number directly outside of a parentheses with multiple things in there. If you remember, a number next to a parentheses means to multiply. So this really shouldn't be that hard to understand. It's just we need to do the multiplication across the parentheses. As long as we multiply whatever this number is times everything in that parentheses, then we are getting that value out, okay? And the parentheses disappear. So that's what we need to do first. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 4m, so 4m 5 times, that would be 20m. These are both positive numbers, so that 20 is positive. Now, everything else just comes down as it is. Okay, so here's our next line. We're still not ready to start solving because on this side of the equal sign, we have terms that are alike but separate. And so first thing, or this step, is combining those terms and simplifying the problem so that it's ready to solve. So we have positive 20m's and negative 2m's. Put those together, and that makes positive 18m's. The 5 comes down, the equal sign comes down, and the negative 13. Now we're here. Now we're ready to solve, okay? Remember our goal. isolate the variable, keep it balanced. Okay, as we do something to one side, you must do it to the other. So we're going to start on this side where the variable is, and we're going to start with addition or subtraction, as long as we can get to it, and in this case we can. There's 5, so I'm going to take 5 away. I want to eliminate that. Keep it balanced, take 5 from the other side. Here's your integers coming in. Negative 13 minus 5. Or you may see negative 13 and negative 5 combined makes 18 negatives, or negative 18. Bring down your equal sign. And on the other side is 18m. Bring that down. Last step, undo this multiplication by dividing. 18 divided by 18 is 1m. Bring down your equal sign. And what we do to one side, we do to the other. So negative 18 divided by 18 is a negative 1. M is equal to negative 1. All right, now I'm going to take this little space here, and I'm going to check my work. So I'm going to take negative 1. I'm going to plug it in for M in both of these places, okay? So negative 13 is equal to 5 times 1 plus 4 times negative 1 minus 2 times negative 1. Ooh. I have to zoom that in for you. All right. So negative 13 equals, so in this, we can actually work through this parentheses. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. I'm going to bring everything else down. I can go ahead and do this multiplication. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. All right. Work through this parenthesis still. 1 times negative 4 is negative 3. Bringing everything else down. Now do the multiplication. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Bring down my plus 2. Last step, add. Negative 15 and positive 2 would equal negative 13. So what I'm left with is negative 13 equals negative 13, which is true. Okay, as I said at the end of the last video, when we get to these longer equations, checking your work is a little bit tougher, but you can still do it. And if you end up with something different, then you can check your equation and see if you messed up, or just redo it and see if you get the same thing. Okay.